The History of Metals by Benjamin Joseph Howard. Do you wonder? Do you wonder why a penny has a reddish-brown color? Do you know what makes your bike strong enough to hold you as you race down a hill? Do you wonder what your mother's bracelets or rings are made of? The answer to all of these questions is metals. Metals give coins their color and shine. Metals also give bikes their strength. Most jewelry is made of metal, too. What are metals? Most metals are strong and hard and can be used to make many useful things. When a metal is heated, it can be shaped into a coin, a paperclip, a spoon, or a shovel. Most metals can conduct heat and electricity very well. Metal wires allow electricity to flow into your house so you can watch television, turn on a lamp, or play a video game. Most metals are found in rocks underground. The mixture of a metal inside a rock is called ore. When people want only pure metal, they extract the ore by heating it until it is very hot. Then the metal can be separated from the rock. Sometimes people mix two metals together to make a stronger metal. For example, when people mix iron and carbon, they create steel. Steel is one of the strongest metals that people use today. In this book, you will learn about some common metals, their characteristics, their history, and their uses today. Adjectives of comparison. When you want to compare one object to another object, you can add the suffix "er" to an adjective. For example, strong and "er" make the word stronger. Steel is stronger than iron. Can you find other adjectives of comparison in this book? Gold has been used to make jewelry for many hundreds of years. Gold. Throughout history, people from all over the world have valued gold above all other metals. People use this precious metal to make beautiful headdresses, rings, necklaces, and earrings for their kings and queens. They also used gold to make coins and decorations for their homes. People found that gold is always shiny. It doesn't corrode or fade, even when it is hundreds of years old. To find gold, people used to scoop up sand and dirt from rivers and wash away everything except the gold. Many years later, people learned how to mine gold by digging it out of the ground. Today, people still like to use gold to make jewelry. Because gold remains shiny and pretty for many years, it is often used to make very special pieces of jewelry. Over the years, people have discovered many more important uses for gold. Some computer microchips are made with gold. A microchip is a tiny piece of a computer that tells the computer what to do. Computer games also contain microchips that use signals to make the characters you see on the screen jump, fly, or dance. Gold also can be used in space. The visors on the first astronauts' helmets were coated in gold. This gold coating shielded the astronauts' eyes from the very bright rays of the sun. These astronauts were lucky. They had gold-plated sunglasses. This ancient Greek coin is made of silver. Silver. Since ancient times, silver has been used to make jewelry and household decorations too. Until recently, many countries use silver to make coins. Then people discovered that it was easier to use nickel and zinc to make coins. Today, there are very few solid silver coins left. As strange as it may seem, silver was also used to make medicines. Before antibiotics were discovered, tiny grains of silver were primary ingredients in medicines. In fact, silver is still used today to help heal burns. This copper vase was made about 4,000 years ago. This copper tool was made about 6,000 years ago. Copper. Copper is a reddish-brown metal. In ancient times, people began using copper to make tools such as knives and axes. The ancient Egyptians learned how to melt and shape copper. They heated copper in a fire until the metal melted, and then they poured the melted copper into sand molds. They made earrings, bracelets, rings, spoons, knives, and weapons out of molded copper. Until recently, people used copper more than any other metal. Now, people use aluminum more than they use copper. Aluminum is a shiny, silvery metal. It doesn't cost a lot of money, and it is more abundant than copper. People use aluminum to make soda cans, roofs for houses, foil, bicycle frames, and much more. People still use copper to make plumbing pipes, electrical wires, and coins. The reddish color in copper is what makes pennies the color they are. Bronze. Soon after the Egyptians discovered how to mold copper, they discovered how to mix copper with a silver-colored metal called tin. This mixture made bronze. Bronze was stronger than copper. Unlike copper, bronze didn't break when hammered. People used bronze to make weapons, artwork, and buildings. Because bronze is so strong, almost as strong as steel, people use bronze to make machine parts. Bronze also ages well. When bronze comes into contact with air, a green coating forms on it, protecting it from damage. For this reason, many statues are made of bronze, such as the statues you see in parks or in museums. Iron. Iron is a hard, brittle metal. Iron is found almost everywhere on Earth. People have relied on iron for thousands of years to make tools and weapons. Ancient people knew that iron was an abundant, strong metal, but they found that iron did not melt very well. Once an iron tool came into contact with the air, the tool became rusty. For these reasons, iron did not seem as good as the other metals that people used. But then, some very clever people discovered how to work with iron. They found that when they heated the iron, they could pound it with a hammer, and it did not break. This chainmail shirt is made of iron. When iron was heated and pounded many times, wrought iron was produced. Wrought iron not only was strong, but also could be shaped. Sometimes wrought iron was even stronger than bronze. This made wrought iron the perfect metal for making swords and shields. In ancient times, blacksmiths made another important discovery about wrought iron. They learned that if wrought iron was cooled quickly in water, it became even harder than when it dried slowly in air. People used this new method to make swords and chain mail, tiny rings of iron woven together to make clothing. Chain mail protected warriors when they went into battle. Today, pots and pans are often made of steel. The Chinese were the first people to discover steel. They learned that iron could combine with carbon at very high temperatures. This mixture of carbon and iron produced a very strong metal called steel. People from many parts of the world learned how to make steel. People began to use steel in weapons and common household items, such as pots and pans. In fact, steel revolutionized the world. Because steel is lighter and stronger than iron, it soon became a very important metal. Using lighter, stronger plows made of steel, farmers could plow bigger fields and grow more food. With more food, towns and cities grew, and families prospered. Years later, people used steel to make railroads and trains. cities and countries became connected, and people could travel faster than ever before. People also used steel to build skyscrapers, tall buildings that seemed to reach the sky. Today, people use steel to build bridges and make parts for cars. When a car is made of steel, it is very strong. Even though steel is an important part of buildings and machines, people still use other metals for other things. Gold and silver are still found in our jewelry and in some of our coins. We continue to use copper and bronze in our decorations, coins, and statues. In so many ways, metals are an important part of our lives. Talk about it. 1. Describe one metal and how it was used in ancient times. 2. Describe one metal and how it is used today. Write about it. 3. On pages 11 and 12, you read about some of the good things that happened when people began to use steel. What other good things do you think happened because people began to use steel? What new jobs were created? What new products were invented? Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Extend language. You can add ed to many verbs to form the past tense. Discover and ed makes discovered. Discovered tells about an action that happened in the past. Can you find other verbs ending in ed in this book?